So let's talk about that protest vote where people want to park their vote if they're upset. I've said this from weeks on end, and I remember even exchanging this with my husband. I said, I think the PPC is this wild card here, and I think they're going to cause an upset, and what capacity we'll have to see on election night. But we've seen their numbers surge. They're in double digits in the prairies, at times in Alberta, in different areas in rural Alberta. You're right when recent polling suggested that 25% of voters for the PPC in this election, as you said, David, voted Green in the last election. Where do these voters come from? This has been the conundrum. Where do the voters come from? Who is parking their vote with the PPC? This is a new party. It's not like they had this big base on which to draw from. Elliot, what are the surprises that you're seeing from the PPC?
Well, it's surprising how strong they are polling, and I've seen polls from 5 to 11%, so quite a large swing. But I think it's undeniable that they are going to be a factor on the 20th. How big a factor, I think, is to be determined, and we'll have to wait and see. But what I would say in a low voter turnout election, that increases the chances of them having an outsized role in more ridings. So, there's not a lot of people paying a close attention in this election. It started in the summer. Kids are going back to school. Families are busy. We'll see how voter turnout is. I don't expect it to be super high. And so all of a sudden you get these strange splits in ridings across the country where the PPC vote, either they pull away from the Conservatives to allow the Liberals to go ahead, or do they pull away from the Conservatives to allow the NDP to go ahead? How does that play out on a larger scale? My sense is they're playing in probably about 10 to 20 seats. And that, frankly, in an election this close could really mean a lot.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Don't forget, recent polling puts the national parties, the CPC and the Liberals, so the Conservatives and Liberals, fairly neck and neck and pretty much across the board. And I always think back, okay, well, what position were the polls in as we head into the election day in 2019? And, there was an election where the Conservatives were ahead 1.2% on election day. And the result, we had Andrew Scheer, then leader of the Conservative Party, win the popular vote, but did not win the plurality of seats.
And that's mostly because the Conservative Party for a long time has had very poor voter efficiency. And so when you win...
What does that mean, voter efficiency?
So to put it bluntly, in a first-past-the-post system, realistically in any particular riding, you need 42%, you're guaranteed to win. So when you get 78% in Fort McMurray, that's fantastic. But everything over 42%, I'm probably being a little generous. They're not wasted votes. It's important for people to vote. But those votes count towards the popular vote, right. But they do nothing in regards to helping the Conservatives gain seats elsewhere. And so when I see the PPC's numbers in the prairies in Alberta, if they take 20% off the Conservatives in Fort Mac, the Conservatives still win quite easily. If they take 10% off the Conservatives in Oakville, North Burlington, well, then this riding is out of reach.
Right.
And the same goes for much of the surrounding area in the 905 as well. And so I think that's really where we have to see, does that message resonate with suburban voters in Southern Ontario? I'm not sure. I'm not really convinced yet. But maybe we'll be wrong. Maybe there will be some of those ridings where you have candidates with the PPC at 7, 8, 9%. And that's really where they become a problem.